Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are excited to present our project on microplastics. First, let me introduce our team. Sarah will cover how and why it is a global problem. KK will discuss environmental impacts. Tracy will focus on economic impact. Karen will present social impact and our conclusion. And I'm David, here to introduce what microplastics are. And here is the table of content. So, what are microplastics? They are tiny plastic particles less than 5 millimeters in size. They originate from larger plastic debris that break down or are intentionally manufactured at this size. And these are the two types. There are primary microplastics, which are intentionally created like this, such as microbeads in cosmetic items. Secondary microplastics, which are the result of breakdown of macroplastics like bottles and bags. Now, let's discuss the major sources of microplastics. Plastic pellets spilled during transportation, which contribute to pollution. Personal care products still contain microbeads despite regulation. Certain paint release microplastics as they deteriorate, and synthetic textiles shed microfibers when washed. Tires also release tiny particles due to wear, while microplastics break down over time. With this understanding of microplastics and their sources, for that, I would like to discuss about an article that we as a team chose. This is Microplastics Are Everywhere. Is it possible to reduce our exposure? This is from the BBC Future from the BBC, and this was published by Isabel Gerst, Gertsen. Forgive me if I could not pronounce her name correctly. And this was published on 6th of March 2024. And these are the key takeaways. Bottled water contains an average of around 240,000 in nanoplastics per liter, which ranges from 1100,000 to 400,000. There are there is a review from WHO that was conducted. It stated that there was too little research for risking human health. However, WHO has called for the reduction in plastic pollution to reduce human exposure. Microplastics have the potentiality to contaminate our food. Biodegradable plastics may not be the solution that is being advertised, and the production of more glass bottles as an alternative could increase mining for silla.
In this section, I will explore with you why microplastics pollution is a global problem and what actions are being taken to mitigate its impact. Firstly, microplastics pollution is widespread and no place on earth is spared. Microplastics are found not only in the environment but also within human body. Secondly, the pollution significantly impacts sustainable development across environmental, social, and economic dimensions. Here are some examples. Pollution levels have reached alarming heights, prompting collaboration among governments, the United Nations, the World Health Organization, scientists, and industry stakeholders. Key international conferences include the Microplastics Conference 2025, spanning 13 countries, and Micro 2024 in Spain, which has been held biannually since 2016. The WHO has published reports on microplastics in drinking water and exposure to nano and microplastic particles. Finally, World Environment Day 2025 will highlight the urgent need to combat plastic pollution. Last but not least, United Nations negotiations with all stakeholders on the Global Plastics Treaty are ongoing and will continue through the end of 2025.
Microplastics are invading our soil, turning finite plant into complex systems. They are such particide and toxic, poisoning soft microbes and interning plant growth. Even earthworms, crucial for soil health, are affected, leading to a collapse of the ecosystem we rely on for food. In rivers and oceans, microplastics carry toxic chemicals into aquatic life, moving up the food chain to our plate. Described efforts by wastewater plant, nearly half of these particles escapes filtration, contributing to ocean garbage patch that harm marine life and disrupt hormones. Microplastics also pollute the air we breathe, shown from cold and time, and carried by the rain to even the most remote areas. These tiny particles, smaller than pollen, can cause lung inflammation, affecting both urban and pristine environment alike.
Now I will talk about economic sustainability. Microplastics harm marine ecosystem, fishery, and tourism, causing ecological damage, and that is billions dollars in annual economic loss. Microplastics infiltrate food chains, affecting seafood daily, and marine populations steeply. France globally, they burn thus crucial communicates with killing costs and discouraging tourism. Effective waste management policies and global actions are essential. This figure illustrates the trends analysis of microplastics. Microplastic pollution has experienced exponential growth from 2060 to 2024, with projections indicating a continuous increase in surface oceans accumulation, surpassing 2.5 minutes by 2050 under various scenarios. Moreover, global plastic production is anticipated to triple by 2060.
Now, I'm going to talk about the social impact of microplastics, especially on health and fairness in society. Microplastics are harmful to human health. Recent studies have found them in human blood, organs, and even brains. This raises serious concerns about how they may affect our nervous and overall health. Microplastics also carry chemicals which can cause problems like cancer, hormone issues, and obesity. In cities, we also breathe in microplastics which can harm our lungs. Sadly, low income and marginalized groups are at greater risk because they often live in polluted areas. There's also a fairness issue. Poor communities, especially in coastal and developing areas, often don't have proper systems to manage plastic waste. This leads to more microplastics in their water and soil. Richer countries make this worse by sending their plastic waste to poorer nations, passing on the pollution and health risks. Microplastics are global crises contaminating ecosystems, economies, and human health. They originated from polluting soil, water, and air, while threatening marine life, agriculture, and tourism. Economically, they harm industry. Environmentally, they disrupt ecosystems. Socially, they worsen health disparities in vulnerable communities. In summary, government, industries, and individuals must work together to combat microplastic pollution and ensure a fairer and sustainable future for everyone. Thank you.
This is our project reference.